Friends, fellow Star Wars enthusiasts, have you ever paused to consider the weight of a single decision? A decision so profound, so utterly life-altering, that it reverberates across the very fabric of one's destiny? Tonight, we delve into a choice of such magnitude, a pivotal moment that not only defined a character, but challenged the very foundations of a galaxy far, far away. We speak, of course, of Ahsoka Tano, a name that conjures images of fierce loyalty, unwavering courage, and a spirit that burned brighter than 1,000 suns. A Padawan learner, thrust into the chaos of the Clone Wars, she fought alongside the legendary Anakin Skywalker, carving her own path amidst blaster fire and the hum of lightsabers. She was the Padawan. Anakin was her master. They were family in the truest sense of the word, their bond forged in the crucible of conflict. But what happens when the very institution you've dedicated your life to, the very people you trust implicitly, falter? What happens when the path laid out before you feels wrong, utterly, fundamentally wrong? Imagine standing at a crossroads, the familiar path stretching behind you, a testament to years of devotion and sacrifice. Yet, a new, untrodden path beckons, shrouded in uncertainty, but resonating with an undeniable truth within your very core. This was the impossible decision faced by Ahsoka Tano. It wasn't a decision born of malice or rebellion. It was a decision forged in the fires of betrayal, fueled by a profound sense of injustice, and ultimately guided by an unwavering moral compass that pointed true, even when all else seemed lost. Tonight, we embark on a journey to dissect those monumental moments that led Ahsoka to sever her ties with the Jedi Order. We will revisit the trials she faced, the accusations that shattered her world, and the agonizing choice that ultimately defined her legacy. Forget the grand battles for a moment. Forget the intricate political machinations. Tonight, we focus on the heart and soul of a character who dared to walk away. We will explore the profound significance of her departure, not as an act of abandonment, but as a powerful declaration of selfhood and an unwavering commitment to her own moral code. Was it easy? Absolutely not. It was a decision that undoubtedly tore at her very being, a severance that left scars both visible and invisible. But in that act of walking away, did Ahsoka merely abandon her past, or did she forge a new destiny, one unbound by dogma and guided purely by her own sense of right and wrong? Join us as we unravel the complexities of Ahsoka's journey. We will examine the moments of doubt, the glimmers of understanding, and the ultimate realization that the most powerful choice isn't always to join the ranks, but sometimes, courageously, to walk away and chart your own course. We will delve deep into the independence that blossomed in the wake of her departure. Stripped of the title of Jedi, yet imbued with the very essence of what it meant to be a protector, Ahsoka navigated a galaxy teetering on the brink of darkness, guided by her own inner light. And finally, we will celebrate the unwavering moral compass that truly elevated her beyond the confines of the Jedi Order. A compass that remained true even when the Jedi themselves seemed to have lost their way amidst the fog of war. It was this unyielding commitment to justice, to compassion, and to the light side of the Force that transformed her from a promising Padawan into a true legend. So, settle in, open your minds, and prepare to witness the pivotal moments that shaped Ahsoka Tano's extraordinary journey. A journey that reminds us that true strength lies not always in adherence to tradition, but in the courage to forge our own path, guided by the unwavering truth within our hearts. Tonight, we explore the legend, beyond the Jedi, and so we arrive at the heart of the matter, the moment where a meticulously constructed world of faith and duty began to crumble into dust. The moment the weight of betrayal became an unbearable burden, Ahsoka Tano's trial. It's a phrase that still sends a shiver down the spine of any Star Wars fan. Here was a hero, a valiant soldier, a loyal Padawan, standing alone in the unforgiving glare of a Republic courtroom. The accusations were monstrous, an attack on the Jedi Temple, the murder of her own people. We watched, helpless, as the Jedi Council, her mentors, and her family turned their backs. They offered no defense, no counsel. They simply abandoned her. This wasn't just a legal proceeding, it was an emotional crucible. We saw the raw, gut-wrenching pain etched on her face as she looked at Master Windu, at Master Yoda, at the very people she had looked up to her entire life. and saw only doubt. The trust she had so freely given was being repaid with cold, calculated pragmatism. They threw her to the wolves to preserve their own shaky standing with the Republic. The seeds of disillusionment were sown not in a single act of malice, but in 1,000 tiny moments of neglect and suspicion from an institution she had believed was incorruptible. But the final brutal blow wasn't delivered by the Council. It was delivered by a friend, Barriss Offee, a fellow Padawan, a confidant, a Jedi she had once considered a sister-in-arms. When the truth was revealed, that Barriss, a Jedi, had orchestrated the entire plot, had framed her to expose the corruption within the Order. It shattered more than just Ahsoka's faith in individuals. It shattered her faith in the institution itself. Barriss's actions were a mirror, reflecting the darkness that had already begun to consume the Jedi. She saw that the rot wasn't just in the politics of the Republic, it had festered within the Jedi temple walls themselves. The very ideals she had fought for, the very principles she had bled for, had been corrupted from within. Her trust wasn't just broken, it was obliterated. So, when the charges were finally dropped, and the Council, with an air of uncomfortable solemnity, offered her an invitation to return, Ahsoka's response was the only one possible. "I won't be coming back." Those 4 words were not a rejection of a life, but a rejection of an entire system. They were the sound of a heartbreaking and a spirit being set free, all at once. And what came next? The silence. The void, the profound loneliness of an independent path. Imagine her walking away from the Jedi Temple, the grand, imposing structure that had been her home for a decade. The familiar hum of the Coruscant cityscape now sounded different, alien. The bustling crowds seemed distant, their faces a blur of indifference. She was no longer Ahsoka, the Padawan of Anakin Skywalker. She was just Ahsoka, a Force-sensitive being, yes, but without the structure, the purpose, the identity the Jedi Order had provided. She was unmoored, adrift in a galaxy that was rapidly succumbing to the darkness she had just fled. Every shadow held a potential threat. Every decision was her own to make, without the guidance of a master or the counsel of the Jedi. The security of the Order, however flawed, was gone. It was replaced by the cold, biting uncertainty of a solitary existence. But in that loneliness, something remarkable began to happen. Without the constraints of the Jedi Code, without the expectations of a council that had failed her, Ahsoka began to truly find herself. She was no longer an extension of Anakin's will or the Jedi's dogma. She was her own person. Her moral compass, once aligned with the Jedi's, now stood on its own, a powerful internal guide that would lead her to become one of the most formidable and beloved figures in the entire saga. The weight of betrayal, as heavy as it was, became the very catalyst for her transformation. It was the fire that forged her into something new, something stronger, something legendary.